Sunday started like any normal day. I woke up, rubbed my eyes, and walked to the kitchen. I thought Mom would be cooking eggs. I thought Dad would be drinking tea. But the house was silent. No voices. No smell of food. Only a cold plate on the table, with a sticky note that said, "Out. Eat leftovers. It's takeoff." That felt strange. But the twist came when my phone buzzed. I picked it up and saw a video from my cousin Lily. She never sends me videos. When I opened it, my eyes got wide. My whole family was at a fancy restaurant. There were balloons, bright lights, and a sign that said, "Family Brunch." Everyone was smiling and eating. I saw my uncles, my aunts, and all my cousins. But the twist was this. I wasn't there. At all. I watched the video again. This time, I saw something that made my stomach flip. There was a chair with a name card on it. It had my name, Aiden. But the card was pushed down like someone didn't want it seen. Like someone had taken it off the table. That twist felt like someone poked my heart with a stick. I grabbed my phone and typed to Mom. Why wasn't I invited? She answered almost right away. "Aiden, it's better if you don't come. You bring tension." I read that line 3 times. Me? Bring tension? I felt confused. Last year, I paid 3 months of their house bill because Dad said he needed help. I thought helping made our family closer. But now Mom was saying it was better if I stayed away. The twist felt even sharper. Then, something strange happened. I heard a whisper outside my window. I walked over and moved the curtain just a little. Mom and Dad were standing by the car. They were dressed nice, like they were getting ready to go to the brunch. So they were still home. Not gone yet. This twist made me lean closer. Mom said quietly, "Do you think he noticed the money missing?" Dad said, "He never notices. He always trusts us." My hands shook. What money? What were they talking about? Then I remembered my savings jar. I kept it under my bed. Yesterday it was full. Today it felt lighter when I shook it. Half of it was gone. That twist hit me the hardest. I didn't know what to feel. I wasn't angry. I wasn't crying. I just felt empty. Like someone took the air out of me. I thought my parents forgot about me. But now I understood the truth. They didn't forget me. They used me. To them, I wasn't a son. I was a place to get money. When they finally drove away, smiling like nothing was wrong, something inside me changed. It felt like a door closing. A door that would not open again. And that was the moment I whispered to myself, I won't let them use me anymore. The door in my room had opened by itself. I froze. My heart jumped. But no one was there. The hallway was empty. For a moment, I just stood still. Then I slowly walked to the door and shut it again. I locked it this time. My hands shook a little. I sat on my bed and tried to calm down. But thinking made my mind go back to old memories. Memories about Liam. And that brought the first twist. When we were little, everyone called Liam the joy of the house. He was always loud and wild. He broke toys. He spilled juice. He ran around like a puppy. Everyone laughed and said, "Oh, that's just Liam." But when I did anything wrong, even something tiny, Mom and Dad got upset. They didn't laugh. They didn't smile. The twist? They said I was the responsible one. One time, Liam broke a window with a ball. He ran inside crying. Mom came outside and looked at the broken glass. She didn't even ask who did it. She said, "Aiden, why didn't you stop him?" I was 8. Liam was 6. I didn't even see it happen. But I still got blamed. The twist? Liam hid behind Mom and smiled a little. Another time, Liam took Dad's car and crashed it into a mailbox. Dad got so angry his face turned red. But when he saw me, he said, "Aiden, you should have told him not to drive." I wasn't even there. I was at the store. Still, I said sorry. I don't know why. Maybe I was trained to say it. The twist? Liam didn't say sorry at all. Then came school problems. Liam dropped out. Mom cried for days. Dad walked around the house, shaking his head. Everyone was upset. Then they turned to me. "Aiden, help him," Mom said. "He needs a second chance." So I paid for his new classes using my savings. Money I needed for my own life. The twist? Liam quit those classes too. Mom used to say something that I always remembered. She said, "Aiden handles things. Liam lives." I thought it meant she believed in me. I thought it meant she cared about me. I thought it meant I was strong and helpful. The twist? It really meant I had to fix everything while Liam did nothing. Now, after seeing my parents leave me out of the brunch, after hearing them talk about taking my money, everything made sense. All the times I helped them. All the times I felt proud for doing the right thing. It wasn't love. It wasn't trust. The twist? It was practice. Practice for using me more. I sat on my bed and held my savings jar again. I could see the empty space inside it. Half gone. Just like that. My chest felt tight. Not from crying. From understanding. I wasn't their helper. I wasn't their strong son. I was their backup plan. Then I heard it again. Knock. Soft. Slow. I looked at my door. And this time, someone whispered my name. The whisper at my door made my skin cold. I didn't open it. I just sat very still. After a few seconds, the sound stopped. The house went quiet again. I didn't know if the whisper was real or if my mind was playing tricks. But thinking about it pulled me back into my old memories again, memories about money. And that brought the first twist. It all started small. Mom once asked, "Can you cover the electric bill? It's just $118." I thought it was no big deal. I had some money saved. I wanted to help. Helping felt good at that time. I felt like I was doing something important. The twist? After I paid, no one said thank you. Then came another request. Mom said Dad's medicine cost $76. "Can you help?" She asked. I didn't even think. I said yes. I always said yes. It felt like the right thing. I told myself, this is what families do. But even after I paid, the house felt the same. No smile, no hug. The twist? They acted like I owed them. Soon, the money problems grew bigger. Liam got a DUI ticket. It cost $1,200. Mom said, "Aiden, your brother needs help." Dad said, "You're the responsible one." I felt pressure on my. I didn't want Liam to get in trouble, so I paid it. But Liam just shrugged like it was nothing. The twist? He didn't even look sorry. Then Dad had a hospital bill. Insurance didn't cover everything. There was a $640 gap. Dad said, "Please help your father." So I did. I paid again. I watched my savings get smaller and smaller. I kept telling myself it was okay. They needed me. The twist? Dad smiled the next day, but not at me. At the bill being gone. After that, Mom came to me with her credit card bill. She said she went a little over. The little over was $1,900. My stomach hurt when I paid it, but she didn't say thank you. She didn't even say sorry. She said, "You're doing what a good son does." The twist? A good son didn't feel very good. One night, after hearing the whisper at my door, I picked up my notebook. I opened it and began adding up everything I paid over the years. Small things, big things, emergency things, Liam's mistakes, Mom's bills, Dad's gaps. I kept writing number after number. When I finished the total, my hands went cold. $27,842. In 4 years. Almost $30,000. Money I could have used for school, for a car, or even for my own life. Money that was mine. But I had given it all away. The twist? None of them said thank you. Not even once. They only said the same line every time. "You're doing what a good son does." But I wasn't sure anymore. Was a good son supposed to lose everything? Was a good son supposed to pay for everyone's mistakes? Was a good son supposed to feel tired and empty all the time? As I closed my notebook, I heard something again. A soft click. My locked door. Unlocked by itself. And this time, the whisper said, "Aiden, look behind you." I froze when I heard the whisper behind me. My heart beat so hard it felt like it wanted to jump out of my chest. I turned around fast. Nothing was there. Just my room, my desk, my bed, my half-empty savings jar. Maybe I was tired. Maybe my mind was playing tricks. I took a deep breath and sat down again. But the quiet made me remember something else, something worse. And that brought the first twist. One afternoon, a few months before the brunch lie, I got a letter in the mail. A white envelope with my name on it. It looked normal, so I opened it without thinking. Inside was a letter from the bank. It said, "Congratulations on your approved co-signed loan, $38,000. My eyes felt like they were going to fall out. I didn't apply for any loan. I didn't even know anyone who needed one. The twist? The letter said I was responsible for it. My hands shook as I read it over and over again. $38,000. That was more than all the money I ever saved in my whole life. My chest felt tight and heavy. I grabbed my keys, ran to my car, and drove straight to my parents' house. I didn't even think. I just kept picturing that number in my head. The twist? My parents acted like nothing was wrong. When I walked into the house, Mom was in the kitchen stirring soup. The smell of onions filled the air. She didn't even look surprised to see me. I held up the letter and said, "What is this? Why is my name on a loan?" Mom looked up like it was no big deal. "The twist?" She smiled. She said, "Oh, that? We used your name for Liam's business loan. You know he's not good with paperwork." I stared at her. My mouth felt dry. My hands felt cold. Liam? Business loan? My name? I didn't even understand what she was saying. My brain hurt, trying to make sense of it. "The twist?" She said it like she was talking about borrowing sugar. Not good with paperwork? Liam wasn't good with anything that needed responsibility. He wasn't good at paying bills. He wasn't good at showing up on time. He wasn't good at telling the truth. He wasn't good at keeping promises. And now, he wasn't good at filling out a loan form, so they used me instead. The twist? They didn't ask. They just took. I asked Mom, "Why didn't you tell me?" She shrugged and said, "Aiden, you always help. That's who you are." My stomach twisted. I didn't want to be that person. Not anymore. I didn't want to be the one they used whenever they messed up. The twist? She didn't see anything wrong with it. Dad walked in a few minutes later. I showed him the letter too. He didn't look upset. He didn't look worried. He just said, "It's done now. Don't make it a big deal." My chest burned. My hands curled into fists. I felt heat crawl up my neck. The twist? They both acted like I was the problem. I walked out of the house without saying another word. I sat in my car and stared at the letter again. The number 38,000 felt like a mountain on my back. And right then, as I held the paper, my phone buzzed. A new message from Liam. "Hey bro, can you send me $200? I'm short this week." I stared at Liam's message asking for $200. My chest felt tight. I had just found out he used my name for a huge loan, and now he wanted more money like it was nothing. I felt heat rise in my face. I grabbed my keys again and drove to his place. I didn't even think about the whisper in my room. I didn't think about the door opening by itself. Right now, it was all about Liam. The twist? He didn't look worried at all. When he opened the door, he had a smirk on his face. Like he knew I was coming but didn't care. I held up the bank letter and said, "Why did you use my name?" Liam laughed a little and leaned against the wall. He said, "Relax, bro. You make good money. And you know I'll pay you back once my shop opens." The twist? He acted like he was doing me a favor. I blinked. His shop? What shop? I looked around his room. There were 2 cardboard boxes on the floor. Each box had a few hoodies inside with stickers on them. That was it. That was the big business. A TikTok dream. No real store. No customers. Just 2 boxes and a wild idea. The twist? He thought it made him a businessman. As I tried to talk to him, I heard footsteps behind him. Mom and Dad walked in, standing behind Liam like bodyguards. Mom crossed her arms. Dad stood tall like a judge. I felt like I wasn't talking to my family. I felt like I was in a courtroom where I was already guilty. The twist? They didn't even ask what I wanted to say. Dad pointed at me and said, "You're the older one. This is your duty." My stomach twisted. Duty? What duty? Was it really my job to fix everything? To pay for everything? To lose money again and again so that Liam could dream about a shop he didn't even build? The twist? They believed it 100%. I tried to explain. "This isn't fair," I said. "My name is on a huge loan. This could ruin my credit." Mom shook her head like I was being dramatic. She said, "Aiden, stop complaining. Liam needs this chance." Her voice was calm but sharp. It hurt more than yelling. The twist? She never said I needed anything. Liam stepped closer and poked my shoulder. "Bro, chill. You're acting like it's the end of the world." His smirk got bigger. He didn't care about the loan. He didn't care about me. He only cared about his dream. A dream I had to pay for. The twist? He thought I would say yes again. I felt something inside me break. Not like a snap. More like a slow, heavy crack that had been waiting for years. I looked at all 3 of them, Liam, Mom, Dad, and I didn't see my family anymore. I saw people who only wanted things from me. People who didn't see me as a son. The twist? They saw me as a wallet with legs. Dad walked closer. His face was serious. He said, "Aiden, don't start trouble. Just do your part." I stepped back. My heart was racing. My throat felt tight. This wasn't a conversation. This was a trap. A trap I had fallen into for years. The twist? This time, I wasn't going to fall. I took a deep breath. And then I said the words that made all 3 of them freeze. "No, I'm done." When I said, "I'm done," the whole room went silent. The air felt heavy. No one moved. No one breathed. Liam stared at me like I had spoken a different language. Mom blinked fast. Dad frowned. For a moment, I thought maybe they would finally listen. But then something inside me snapped. The twist? It snapped louder than I expected. For the first time in my whole life, I screamed. Not a small yell. Not a quiet shout. A real scream. A scream that came from every year I stayed quiet. Every year I did what they wanted. Every time I said yes. The scream felt like fire leaving my chest. The twist? They looked scared of me. Words poured out of my mouth. All the things I swallowed. For years. All the times I helped. All the times I paid bills that were not mine. All the times I said sorry when I didn't do anything wrong. I yelled everything. I couldn't stop. It felt like a river breaking through a dam. The twist? I didn't feel guilty. My parents stared at me like I had broken the law. Like I had done something evil. Mom's mouth dropped open. Dad's eyes got big. They looked shocked not because of what they did, but because I finally spoke up. The twist? They acted like I hurt them. Then Liam started crying. Loud crying. Dramatic crying. The kind of crying he used when he wanted attention. The kind of crying that made Mom run to him every time. Tears rolled down his face like he was the victim. The twist? He wasn't crying for me. He was crying for himself. Mom rushed to him right away. She didn't look at me. She didn't ask if I was okay. She wrapped her arms around him like he was made of glass. She whispered, "It's okay, baby. Don't cry." I stared at them. My mouth felt dry. My hands felt cold. The twist? She held him like I was the danger. Dad pointed at me with a hard, angry look. He said, "Look what you've done. You're cruel. Cruel." The word hit me like a slap. Cruel? Me? I was the one who gave and gave until I had nothing left. I was the one who paid for bills, classes, mistakes, and secrets. The twist? Dad believed every word he said. I stepped forward and said, "Cruel? I paid $3,500 for Liam's rehab last year while he posted selfies at the beach." Dad's face tightened. Mom gasped. Liam stopped crying for a second, then cried louder, like a baby wanting more attention. The twist? They didn't deny it. I kept talking. "I paid your bills. I paid your fines. I saved you. All of you. And you still call me cruel?" My voice shook, but not from fear. From anger. Real anger. The kind of anger that comes from being used over and over again. The twist? They still didn't understand. Mom held Liam closer. Dad shook his head at me. Liam whispered, "Why are you so mean?" Like he didn't know. Like none of them all knew. Like I hadn't just carried all three of them for years. The twist? They didn't want to understand. I felt something inside me change. A line. A wall. A door closing for good. And when I turned to leave, someone grabbed my arm. Hard. The hand grabbing my arm scared me so much I almost screamed again. But when I turned around, no one was there. No one close enough to touch me. Liam was still crying on the couch. Mom was hugging him. Dad stood by the doorway. None of them had moved. My arm still felt warm, like fingers had been there. I pulled away fast and left the house without saying a word. The twist? My arm stayed sore all night. When I got home, I sat at my desk. My hands were shaking. My heart felt tired. My head felt heavy. I knew shouting didn't change anything. I knew crying wouldn't help. So I opened my laptop. And then I opened something I never thought I would. A spreadsheet. Just a simple, plain spreadsheet. The twist? It felt like opening a secret door. I started typing every payment I had ever made for my family. Every month, every bill, every time they said, "Just this once." Every time they said, "We'll pay you back." I typed all of it, one line at a time. It felt strange, like I was looking at my life in numbers. The twist? The page filled faster than I thought. I added the electric bill, the medicine bill, the DUI fine, the hospital gap bill, the credit card bill, the rehab fee, the second chance program. I even added the tiny things like times I paid for gas or food so Liam could focus on his dreams. Line after line. Number after number. The twist? There were so many lines it felt endless. Then I added the biggest one, the $38,000 loan I never agreed to. My hands felt cold typing that number. I stared at it for a long time. It didn't look real. It looked like something from a movie. But it was real. Very real. The twist? It made the total explode. When I finished writing everything, I clicked the total button. The number popped up so fast it made me gasp. $314. I read it again and again. $52,314. Money I worked for. Money I saved. Money I should still have. My hands felt heavy. My chest felt empty. But I knew this number needed to be seen. The twist? I finally had proof. At the top of the spreadsheet, I wrote the title. What I paid, while you called me heartless. The words looked bold and strong on the screen. For the first time in a long time, I felt strong too. My hands stopped shaking. I took a deep breath and clicked send. I sent the file to the entire family group chat. The twist? They saw it within. In seconds. My phone started buzzing over and over. I ignored most of the messages. But then my phone rang. It was my aunt. She never calls me. My stomach twisted as I answered. She whispered, "Oh my God. We had no idea." Her voice sounded scared. Shocked. Sorry. The twist? She wasn't the only one calling. My phone lit up again. It was my grandmother. And she never calls unless something big is about to happen. Right after I sent the file, my phone started shaking like crazy. Message after message popped up. It felt like the whole screen was jumping. I opened the family chat, and everyone was typing at the same time. The twist? No one asked if I was okay. The first message was from Mom. She wrote, "Delete that or you're not my son." My stomach dropped. My own mom said that to me. Over a file. Over the truth. I stared at her message, but something felt different. This time. The twist? I didn't feel scared of her anymore. Then Dad sent a long message. He wrote, "Money shouldn't divide us. Take the file back." I almost laughed. I wasn't the one who took money from everyone. I wasn't the one making big money messes. I wasn't the one lying. Dad talked. Like I broke the family. But they had been breaking it for years. The twist? He never said sorry. Not even once. Then Liam wrote to me. "You're pathetic for keeping score." Keeping score? I felt my face get hot. I wasn't keeping score. I was keeping facts. I wrote things down because they never listened when I talked. I didn't want to fight. I wanted them to see the truth. The twist? He was mad because the truth made him look guilty. More messages came fast. "Calm down. Don't make drama. Why would you post that?" No one said, "Wow, you paid so much." No one said, "Are you okay?" No one said, "That was wrong of us." The twist? They cared more about the problem being seen than the problem itself. Another message from Mom popped up. "You made us look bad. Fix this now." Fix this? That's all I ever did. I paid their bills. I fixed their mistakes. I helped them again and again. Now they wanted me to fix their image too. The twist? I finally understood that I wasn't a broken one. My hands stopped shaking. My chest felt calm. For once, I didn't type anything back. I didn't explain myself. I didn't say sorry. I just sat there in silence. The twist? The silence felt strong. Then I opened my phone settings. I clicked on Mom's name, then Dad's, then Liam's, then the group chat. I pressed one button again and again. Block. 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 The buzzing stopped. The screen went quiet. The room felt different. Not scary. Not heavy. Just quiet. The twist? The quiet felt like the first breath of real freedom. I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes. I thought it was over. I thought I could rest for a little while. But then, boom, 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 boom. A loud knock hit my front door. And it wasn't gentle. The loud knocking on my door that night made my heart race. But after a few minutes, the knocking stopped. I didn't open the door. I didn't check who it was. I just stayed inside and kept quiet. The next few days were strange. My phone stayed silent. My house stayed calm. I thought maybe everything was over. The twist? I was wrong. 3 weeks passed with no calls from my parents. No long messages. No yelling. No crying. Nothing. It felt peaceful. Like the world finally gave me space to breathe. I cooked my own food. I watched movies. I slept better. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was living my own life and not someone else's. The twist? Peace never lasts long with my family. One morning, my phone buzzed. Not with a text this time. It was a voicemail. I stared at the screen for a moment. My stomach tightened. The voicemail was from Dad. I almost didn't listen to it, but something inside me said I should. I pressed play. The twist? His voice sounded scared. Dad said, "The bank is calling. We can't make the loan payment. We need you." Those words hit me hard. We need you. Not we miss you. Not we're sorry. Not we were wrong. I thanks for. Just we need you. The twist? That word had been used on me my whole life. Need. Not love. Not care. Just need. Need for money. Need for help. Need for someone to fix things. I felt my hands shake a little. I sat down on my bed. I played the message again to make sure I heard it right. Dad sounded worried. Maybe even afraid. But not for me. For the loan. The twist? They didn't miss me at all, only what I gave them. I thought about the loan I never signed for. The $38,000 they took in my name. The loan I told them was wrong. The loan they lied about. Now it was overdue. Now the bank was calling. Now their plan was falling apart. The twist? They thought I would rush back to save them. Dad ended the voicemail with, "Call us back. We're in trouble. You have to help." Have to? I didn't have to do anything anymore. Not after all the times they used me. Not after all the times they made me feel like I wasn't enough unless I was paying. Not after they called me cruel for finally speaking up. The twist? They still believed I belonged to them. I sat there with the phone in my hand. My room felt quiet again. I looked at my savings jar. I looked at my laptop with the spreadsheet file still open. I looked at the blocked numbers list on my phone. I took a slow, deep breath. Then I pressed the button. Delete voicemail. The twist? I didn't feel guilty. Not even a little. But just when I thought the moment was over, my phone rang again. This time from an unknown number. The unknown number on my phone kept ringing. I didn't answer. I let it ring until it stopped. I felt scared for a moment. But then I remembered something important. I didn't owe anyone anything. Not anymore. I put my phone down and took a deep breath. For the first time in a long time, I felt calm. The twist? Calm gave me courage. The next morning, I went to the bank. I walked in with the letter, the screenshots, and the truth. My hands shook a little, but I didn't stop. I told the bank worker, "I didn't sign this loan. Someone used my name." My voice was small, but clear. She looked at the papers and nodded. She said we could file a fraud dispute. The twist? I felt hope for the first time. Filing the fraud case took time. I had to fill out forms. I had to explain what happened. I had to send proof. But I kept going. Day after day. Week after week. It felt slow, but it felt right. I wasn't saving them this time. I was saving myself. The twist? It felt strange to fight for me, but it felt good. A month passed. Then I got an email from the bank. I opened it with shaking hands. The message said the loan was removed. For my record, it said I was no longer responsible for it. It said they believed me. I sat back in my chair and let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. The twist? I didn't cry. I smiled. A few days later, the bank called again. They said they were opening an investigation into my parents, into how the loan was made, into who signed it, into what really happened. My stomach sank for a moment, not because I felt bad, but because it was finally real. The twist? They were finally facing the truth. Then the calls from my parents started. Unknown numbers, blocked numbers, new numbers, over and over. Voicemails, messages, everything, all saying the same thing. "Please stop the process. Please fix this. We need you." But they never said, "We're sorry." Not once. The twist? They wanted help, not forgiveness. This time, I didn't cave. I didn't run to save them. I didn't do what I always did. I let the investigation continue. I let the truth do its job. Because for the first time in my life, I chose me, not them. The twist? Choosing me felt like freedom. Weeks passed. My house stayed quiet. My phone stayed calm. My heart felt lighter. I woke up each day without fear, without worry, without shame. I made my own meals. I bought things with my own money. I felt normal. The twist? It felt like I finally had a real life. People sometimes ask me if I miss my family, if I miss the old days, if I miss the people I grew up with. And I always answer the same thing. I miss what I thought they were, not what they proved to be. The twist? I didn't lose a family. I lost people who were hurting me. And I saved the one person they never did, myself. If you made it all the way to the end of this story, I want to say a genuine thank you from me to you. It honestly means so much that you chose to spend your time here, listening, watching, and experiencing this journey with me. There are a million things you could be doing right now, and this fact that you stayed until the final moment really does mean the world. This story touched you, entertained you, or even just kept you company for a little while. Feel free to tap that like button. It helps more than you might think. And if you'd like to stick around for more stories, more lessons, and more deep dives. Subscribing is the best way to make sure you don't miss what's coming next.